back on blue side, you have Galio and you have Bard. Last game we saw Galio banned and Bard picked for Glacial Rising Phoenix. This game you don't have that luxury without dropping one of your other bans. So will they drop a ban and ban both Bard and Galio? I personally think that's what they need to do. As we've seen, games in my hands look good on the Graves. I think you could maybe drop that Olaf ban, but we won't see it. They're going to still ban the Olaf. Maybe they're going to drop the Riven ban.
So with that now, we have that Karthus ban again coming out to just take Klepto off of his really strong Karthus pick. And there you go. You have the Galio picked up, but the respect ban of the Cassiopeia for Skiz, as he was so dominant with Cassiopeia last game.
And the Ornn ban. So they're really targeting, some of the keys to success last game for the side of Glacial Rising Phoenix. And right here we're going to see a Bard ban. So we'll see, Makai's Riven is left open. Obviously you don't need to first pick it right here. And they will go with the Morgana this time, as that was one of their bans in Game 2. They didn't like the Morgana from Game 1, even though Glacial Rising Phoenix didn't pick up the win. So we will see Morgana now going over to the side of Trigger Happy. However, this does mean we get to see both Caitlyn and Graves going over to Glacial Rising Phoenix.
And now that Games in My Hand doesn't have that Graves, what is he going to lock in here to kind of, change up the tempo, change the momentum? Because we haven't seen him on anything in this series except for Graves. What are you looking to see coming from him in this Game 3?
Typically I would almost say something like a Jarvan, but because they are against Caitlyn Graves, Jarvan's not going to find the same effectiveness. We might see a Lee Sin or something, but because we see, there's that Riven, right? They don't want to get him banned away, so we're going to see his Riven actually come out this game, and we do see Ashe Morgana locked in overall for Trigger Happy, and that's a very strong bot lane, and a pretty good answer to a Caitlyn pick, as Xylandis will also pick up his Thresh, which Xylandis has played a couple times and has looked pretty good. So we still have that more standard support coming from Xylandis, and like you're saying, what jungler are we going to see from Games in My Hand? Well, now we have the opportunity to ban even more junglers. Instead, we're going to target the mid lane pool and ban away Orianna.
So with the Orianna taken away, the Galio taken away, and based on what we're seeing, we're probably going to find a control mage for the side of Ishan. With how this team comes building, he needs more range on his side to kind of help influence around. He doesn't really need more engaged. We have the Ashe
Malphite
Crystal
mid.
Arrow. Maybe a Malphite mid will come out.
It's gonna come back, man. Against Graves, Eshan's he's gonna step it up. But as much as I joke about it, it is a reasonable option here because they do already have Graves AD, Caitlyn AD, and we've seen him play the Malphite mid before. He went one damage item, I believe it was Proto Belt, into full tank. So we have seen him play it mid. It has looked good for them. The big thing would be the matchup, and I don't know if he'd be comfortable blind picking it into Skiz, just being able to pick whatever he wants. And they're actually going to take away the Malphite on the side of Glacial Rising Phoenix, whether that's just because they want to tank top laner, or if they're trying to, double whammy, keep it out of the hands of Ishan. We will see the Malphite going over to the side of Glacial Rising Phoenix.
That Malphite is actually a pretty safe, not necessarily strong, but it's safe and can handle Riven pretty effectively in that top lane. But now we see a Diana being hovered here for the side of Trigger Happy, and they're going to go ahead and lock that in. Once again, more team fighting tools to help lock down Glacial Rising Phoenix in these team fights.
Diana's not bad. It's not a bad pick by any means. However, when I see, Graves with some dashes, Caitlyn with a dash, a net, you have a trap. Malphite's E does attack speed slow, we have to remember. And, Diana likes to attack. She does build a bunch of attack speed. Sometimes you see Nashor's Tooth, but her passive is all about that attack speed. And to answer your question, they're going to take the Wukong this game, Pasta Boy. We're going to see Games in My Hand, saying, hey, last game, that Graves into Wukong didn't feel good. This game, we're going to take it.
The final picks being locked in, we had the Veigar locked in for Glacial Rising Phoenix.
Oh, I like that.
From what I see right now, you have very, very strong area denial, as well as really good poke for Glacial Rising Phoenix, while you have a whole lot of melee matchups for the side of Trigger Happy, with only Morgana and Ashe being your really only ranged poke going into these fights.
this is a scary game, just because, you know, Glacial Rising Phoenix is, I would say they have like a way better chance of winning because their comp requires less skill and requires less difficulty, right? It's very, very simple. You know, Vagar cage picks, things like that. We see Trigger Happy's comp. You know, if Riven hits a good flank and kills Vagar or Caitlyn, fights 1. Wukong hits a good flank, kills Vagar or Caitlyn, fights 1. You know, Diana hits a good flank, fights 1. You also have Morgana Black Shield with Ash Arrows to kind of set up some of these ways to get through the cage. But it's also a lot harder, right? Because if you're not fighting as a team, you can only Black Shield one person. And that one person can make it through the cage, can blow up Vagar, potentially. But if it's only one person getting through the cage against Vagar, Caitlyn, Graves, like, you know, 1v3, some of these champions can do it. We've seen big Diana ults, we've seen big Wukong ults, but it's certainly a lot harder, right? The skill gap is going to be much higher for their team comp to pull off success.
You know, and I think you nailed it right on the head. The team comp from Glacial Rising Phoenix is so much easier to, you know, play as well as kind of manipulate across all stages of the game. They're able to set up the really strong denial with the traps and the Vagar cage and play into it well. However, Trigger Happy has very, very strong pick and team fight potential if they can find the correct flanks from pretty much anyone of their side within Diana, Wukong, and Riven. All three have really strong pick potential to go into these fights, maybe hit a really strong flank and pick off 2, 3, you know, even more members than that. It's just a really strong flank with the Enchanted Crystal Aerial going in and the Black Shield to allow someone to go through the cage. Trigger Happy has a very good chance in this game, but they do have to play a lot better compared to how Glacial Rising Phoenix's comp is set up right now.
Yeah, and that's why I really like that we're going to see a cleanse from the side of Epic Fail Guy, because I think this cleanse, you know, recognizing getting caught by a binding, getting caught by Ash Arrow just instantly loses your team a fight. It's very nice to have the cleanse in these mid and late game fights. You know, not really going to want a QSS this game, because the 3 people that are going to do the most damage are Riven, Diana, and Wukong, and there's QSS isn't going to do anything for you against those champions, right? So being able to go Phantom Dancer or even Maul, if it's only Diana that's strong, is going to give the Caitlyn an edge that she's not going to have to build this QSS. That's going to help her a lot. A scary thing though is I feel like Trigger Happy, you know, last game with kind of how rough the game went for them with some mechanical, you know, we saw Troll the Noob kind of have a really uncharacteristically bad performance, you know, maybe the 70-30 coin flip landing on the 30 side, and you know, we're kind of hoping this game with the bindings, some roam potential, maybe some good Black Shields, and really step up his play from last game.
And with this, we're about to get ready to load right into Game 3 of Trigger Happy and Glacial Rising Phoenix in the second round of the quarterfinals here for the ALS. You know, I'm really excited to see how this game's going to go. Will Glacial Rising Phoenix able to maintain that momentum from the Game 2, or will Trigger Happy take it right back out from under them with their composition here in Game 3?
Yeah, let's see in the chat, you know, who do you guys support, Glacial Rising Phoenix or Trigger Happy? Because I'm really thinking, you know, this game right here, people like to call it a swing game. You know, we see best of 5s go all 5 plenty of times, but winning this Game 3 is massive, right? Getting that one win away from match point, especially, you know, if you're either one of these teams, right? If you're the side of Trigger Happy, you know, you lose with your Riven one trick or Riven main getting Riven, you know, it's kind of like Viper getting Riven in LCS, right? It's that game that you're really wanting to win because you feel confident in it. And if you're unable to win a game like this, you really have to go back to that drawing board for Game 4, right? You lost on your standard team comp with the Poppy and the Graves, and then you lose with the Riven. Now you're going back to the drawing board. Will we see any invades here this time from the side of Trigger Happy for the 3rd time in a row? The answer seems to be no.
Pretty standard defense set up by both teams. 3 members on the top side for Trigger Happy. And now they're kind of stancing around, trying to see if maybe a ward will come out that they can punish here. But now it looks like that Glacial Rising Phoenix is going to kind of push in and get some of this early vision out.
And we do see the Glacial coming out for Veigar. So we're gonna see, you know, spooky ghosts. And our favorite hose come out, you know, gotta spray people down with your little slow hose and go for the best. I kind of like it, you know, the Riven, even though she has dashes, you know, you slow her and put that cage up, it's like, where are you going? You know, you're not Ezreal, you can't blink out. And we get a new look for Epic Fail Guy this game. I did mention, you know, way back on the analyst desk, expecting a matchup like this where we get Caitlyn on the side of Epic Fail Guy and Ashe for bottom user. The big thing here is we've seen 2 games in a row of Ezreal, right? So we're going to have to see if he's able to step up this game on the Caitlyn. It's a lane-dominant AD carry. You know, can he be this mid-game power spike his team needs?
Looking around now, same side start for both junglers as you had Klepto starting on his blue buff and then Games in My Hand starting on his red. But a pretty standard start. You're gonna have red buff. Never mind, red buff over to his wolves, and then he's gonna clear up to his blue. So maybe a full clear for his top side. While you have Klepto going blue Gromp. Okay, he's doing a full bot side clear as well. A little bit different from both junglers. A lot of junglers like to go for that 3 camp start into a rush for a gank. But they're able to kind of play this a little bit slower tempo as they have these not so incredibly volatile lanes right now.
Yeah, we see Ashawn doing, you know, what he seems to do all the time. Get that early game mid push, walk up and drop the ward on Raptors, kind of scouting out the enemy jungler. That's really nice. As we do see, you know, some heavy trading in the top lane. Malphite getting the short end of the stick early on, but, you know, not looking too bad. And one thing to note is, as we see Wukong kind of invade a little bit, and Graves still hasn't taken his red buff yet. You know, we might have a skirmish going on early on.
But a lot of damage for Epic Fail Guy onto bottom user, or onto Troll to Noob. But now you see Ishan going in and doing so much damage to Skiz with that rapid fire combo, able to just pump out so much DPS against the Veigar, who has no damage as of yet.
Yeah, and the Riven with the early push top lane is also able to walk up here. And Klepto's kind of being a little greedy if he stays around, unable to unfortunately get his own red buff. And we will see some early counter jungling from the Wukong. We will see Graves, you know, go for bot scuttle, probably just to trade his scuttle crabs here. As we kind of split the map in half is what we're going to be looking at. And we saw, you know, a hook from Xylandis come out and some trading. But other than that, the bot lane's actually kind of swinging a little bit in the favor of the side of Trigger Happy. They do have a little bit of lane priority. However, that does set them up to be ganked by Klepto here. But Morgana Black Shield is a great deterrent.
And Mayeki trying to see how much damage he can do, but now you have Joey Desu starting to get some levels on himself, you know, starting to get ready to go back, pick up some of that armor, and just become a massive tank in the top lane to just keep absorbing damage. And with that Comet poke rolling with that Q, he just is able to poke out Mayeki so easily in the top lane.
Yeah, we're probably going to see Mayeki want to TP back. He's actually greeting, or got his back stopped. Either way, he's going to be staying around this top lane tower with low HP here. And this is a pretty big minion wave crashing in, right? So he really desperately wants this XP and gold.
Really strong hook onto Troll to Noob. Troll to Noob now is getting taken low. He's forced to flash away. Ignite coming out from Xylandis, and Troll to Noob is able to stay alive by the edge of his teeth for the heal from bottom user.
Yeah, and here comes the Grapes for the tower dive top lane. Just easy first blood pickup. You know, Mayeki not reacting to the flash Q. Well done by Klepto. And, you know, that's all set up from whether Joey Desu stopped. I believe Joey Desu stopped Mayeki's recall when he tried to back, and Mayeki got greedy. Didn't want to walk away from the tower and lose all the XP.
Forward onto Troll to Noob.
Almost. Almost. Morgana Black Shield is a hated ability. But, you know, he got greedy. He didn't want to lose the XP and the gold. Didn't want to TP back. And he pays the price with his life, and a good play from Klepto. We will see them, you know, they're going to give up the early dragon. That's kind of the price for this top lane kill. But we'll have to see these next 5-6 minutes. You know, if the Malphite's able to continue to build a lead on this Riven like he should in the matchup, then honestly, giving up this one Infernal Dragon is going to be a success for the side of Glacial Rising Phoenix.
You know, Glacial Rising Phoenix just has to keep playing their game. If they keep playing slow and smart for their especially on the side of Skiz, he's going to be able to become a monster in the mid to late game if he just keeps stacking up that ability power, getting the items he needs, gets the, the slow hose and the spooky ghost. He'll be able to be a nightmare for Trigger Happy to deal with in the mid game.
Yeah, and that brings me back to the
and all in from Joey Desu as he's running down Maeki. Now Maeki forced to flash away, and Joey Desu with the unstoppable force is able to do so much damage, but he's going to flash forward as well and pick up the kill onto Maeki.
Well played from Joey Desu, and this Riven pick is not working out for the side of Trigger Happy. And one of the things, going back to the point, as we do see a gank mid lane now too with the cage.
Both been forced out. Ishan has to flash away. Giz and Klepto there with really good gank, setting up everything they needed in order to kind of force that flash and chunk him out really, really easily. Like we talked about, their comp is just a lot easier to execute for Glacial Rising Phoenix.
Yeah, and fourth time's the charm here. One of the most important things in Game 1 and Game 2, including the Bard, the big Bard pick, was that we saw in Game 1, Skiz was not protected. Skiz was killed a whole bunch early, 0-4 by like 15 minutes, ends the game's like 0-7. In Game 2, we saw Skiz had a little more protection from the Bard. With Troll the Noob on Thresh, he was unable to tower dive him like he did the game before and died, and Skiz was able to have an impact in the game. This game, if we can see, Klepto continue with these ganks, continuing to keep Skiz protected, we'll see them probably come out with a lot more success, like in Game 2, as another repeat gank.
Klepto trying to come in even more, and now just trying to get so much damage out, and he's going to take up the kill onto Ishan.
And man, that poor Diana just TP'd back to lane 2 as a hook comes out bot lane, played onto the trap.
So much damage! Epic Fail Guy and Xylandis with such a good combo there onto Troll the Noob, but they're going to easily pick up that kill with only an Ignite being used there in that fight.
And, one of the traps people fall into, obviously in this game we saw Morgana picked early, but one of the traps people fall into is they think Morgana can counter Thresh. Well, the hook cooldown on Thresh is shorter than the Black Shield cooldown on Morgana, and that's what we saw right there. First we have a hook that gets Black Shielded, about 10 to 12 seconds later we see a hook come out that can't be Black Shielded, and Xylandis is good enough to flay forward and flay Troll the Noob onto the trap instead of just, mindlessly flaying backwards, and we just see him getting one shot. So well played out there to the bot lane of Epic Fail Guy and Xylandis, really stepping up, because that first game was terrible, to put it nicely, for Xylandis. 2-9 on the Pantheon support. And now, these last couple games, he's looked better. Right? His Bard performance in Game 2 was not the same as Troll the Noob's in Game 1, but it was good. It was good. It wasn't this huge pop-off 1v9, but it was good. It's exactly what his team needs from him, right? His team just needs him to be this consistent rock down here and keep his team in the game. And we see him, this game, making the roam play with his jungler. Now they're the ones doing this Rift Herald with the Thresh Graves up here.
And Joey Desu is just locking down this top lane. Like I was talking about, he's getting the armor built up. He's getting ready to become a monster in the top lane and just not allow Maeki to do any sort of, not have any pressure or any momentum in the top lane, because Joey Desu is just so powerful right now. But a huge pick coming forward onto Xylandis here as he's trying to get away, but Games in My Hand is going to pick up that kill. Really good rotation from those two to catch him out.
That's a good pick. However, Wukong using ultimate right before this dragon spawns, they might pay for it, right? Because we're going to see Xylandis, he's going to respawn with his Moby Boots, he's going to be here in plenty of time for dragon, and, we're looking over at Wukong, he's not going to have his ult, so if we set up for this dragon fight, we have no ult on the Wukong, and we're looking at a team that's already kind of losing, and without this big team fight ult, it's going to be scary. Obviously, if you have the numbers advantage, not having the ult might not matter. But right now, no ult on Wukong. We might see an early force from Glacial Rising Phoenix on this dragon.
And with no TPs available in the top lane, it's going to come down to a straight 4v4 unless, certain moves are made to kind of make sure that it can't happen.
Man, we got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson up there just laying down the law on this Riven. We don't see a Bramble Vest, we don't see a Bomby Sender, as we actually see a dragon started up from Graves here. Decides, he should back away, as this team hasn't quite collapsed yet.
Glacial Rising Phoenix now slowly making their way forward, but now Ishan's going to go hard onto Skiz. Skiz forced to flash away, and Chain of Crystal is going to come through and connect onto Skiz. Flash forward, and Ishan picks up the kill, but now bottom user is caught out, and he's trying to get away now. Epic Fail Guy able to pick up some of this damage. Chain's coming out, but it's not going to be quite enough just yet. And Games in My Hand now going forward, and Klepto's going to pick up the kill onto Troll to Noob, but now Games in My Hand went forward just a little bit too much, and he's going to get taken down by Epic Fail Guy.
And, you know, Vaker, I mean, so what we see there is we see them, you know, late to the rotation for the Dragon. And then the Dragon ends up going over to the side of Trigger Happy. And Vaker kind of caught in no man's land, you know, indecisiveness on if he needs to move quick or not. And, you know, he dies for free. But after they get this pick, we see Trigger Happy, he just really wanted to press R and Zhonya's, and what we get is him walking face first into Caitlyn and dying. And we see it kind of baits in some other more members, and we see 2 kills going the way of Glacial Rising Phoenix that honestly shouldn't have gone that way. And while we're down 2 dragons, we're still up about 2,000 gold, almost 3,000 for the side of Glacial Rising Phoenix. So this 3rd dragon fight is going to be really important. Once again, we see a Mountain Soul, right? And if we're talking 4 Mountain Soul Malphite, yeah, who's killing that man? Because I don't think there's any volunteers to kill him.
And Joey Desu is just not giving Maeki a chance to breathe in this top lane. He's just doing so much damage. The Frozen Heart already picked up. And, you know, that's going to give him more mana for these fights. Unstoppable Force going in onto Maeki, and he's just trying to say, I have the top lane dominance here. You cannot stop me in this lane.
Yeah, he's just trying to really assert the dominance, look for the tower. However, we do see Ashan, you know, with the mid wave, kind of trying to roam up there and say, hey, you can't take this tower. I'm coming up to get a kill. This time, Joey Desu, you know, they recognize the plays happening. They back off, and we see Graves actually able to just walk up and smite away the Scuttle Crab that Ashan was doing. Cheeky.
Good cage coming out. Now they're trying to do some damage onto Skiz or onto Ishan here.
Yeah, and you know, right now the game state is kind of at that lull, kind of boring state, as we actually have potential for a 4-man dive setting up. As with that mid push they got, we see both Klepto and Skiz coming bot lane while we have a gank top lane. But Joey Desu is able to flash away. And now we have to, you know, turn our focus to this bot side of the map. We have Riven has TP up, but has to reset. Wukong's not here, and Diana's still mid with TP. So we could see a 4v4 breaking out.
And here we go. Klepto's going to go ahead and go on to Troll the Noob. And now they're trying to see how much damage they can put out on him. Is he going to get away just yet? No, Klepto's going to come out and pick up the kill on Troll the Noob. And bottom user was taken down there. You didn't quite see him on the screen, but he was picked up by Epic Fail Guy.
Yeah, and I kind of have to scratch my head a little bit. I mean, I know Ashan was a little low on mana mid, but I feel like you definitely could have sat under the tower and probably double TP'd, you know, your solo lanes down there and probably held under tower 4v4. Instead, we see them kind of decide, hey, we're going to sacrifice bot lane. We're going to save our TPs for a better play. We know we have Mountain Dragon in a minute 30, so we'll see if they use their TPs for this Mountain Dragon. You know, Riven can stay topside with it. But Joey Desu does have TP as well, and we know how hard he's winning this top lane. And we have to think about, you know, Unstoppable Force easily denies Riven's ability to kind of TP in. And whereas if we see Malphite TP and Riven has to stop him, Malphite probably just kills Riven if Riven has to stop the TP.
You know, I have to agree with you here because Maeki going on to Joey Desu is not going to be good for him. Whereas if Joey Desu is able to just kind of wait the timeout, you know, say his TP's not stopped, then he gets a free Unstoppable Force down to help kind of swing that team fight around. But if not, then he can just then turn his full attention over to Maeki, and if he has enough space, able to pick up that kill.
Yeah, and this is a big dragon, because it's going to spawn right at the 16-minute mark, basically, and we're looking at 21 to 22 minute soul spawning in this game if we see the side of Trigger Happy pick up this dragon. So if you are Glacial Rising Phoenix, as we already see Joey Desu walking down preemptively here, valuing being in this team fight early rather than TPing, which is very important. I definitely think Glacial Rising Phoenix need to flex their muscles. You know, they have
the force coming out, and they're going to pick up that kill on the Troll the Noob, but here comes the TP now from Maeki.
Riven.
Maeki's forced to instantly run away, but a huge Ishan ultimate coming out here. Now as they're trying to get away, Ishan's taken down by Epic Fail Guy, and so much damage coming out, and now they're trying to pick up in the triple kill over for Epic Fail Guy onto Mayeki. But now bottom user's caught in the cage, and he's going to be taken down.
Quadra kill.
A quadra kill for Epic Fail Guy.
And he answered the question of will he step up on a champion not Ezreal, as this Caitlyn is outstanding, as the champion is incredibly strong. Did I just see an entire team miss CCing someone that was teleporting in when you have Caitlyn traps and Veigar ult? I did, didn't I?
You did.
I thought when that happened, it might be a little doomed. Not gonna lie, but luckily, you know, not punished for missing your CC on a target that always spawns in the exact same spot at the exact same time. It happens. It happens. Otherwise, it's been a really clean game from the side of Glacial Rising Phoenix, and you know, this is do or die now, right? We're looking at a 7,000 gold lead at 16 minutes. You know, luckily the dragons are on the side of Trigger Happy, so we do have, you know, no early soul coming out. The downside to actually having the early dragons, as we see Troll Danube a little caught out of position here, having to burn his flash. The downside to having these early dragons is Glacial Rising Phoenix is going to stack mountains, right? And I mentioned it earlier, we're looking at 4 stack mountain dragons on a Malphite. On Graves, who has his E, you know? All these resistances, just Veigar buying Mercury Treads matters so much more with all the extra resist he gets. As we see a Rift Herald started up from the side of Glacial Rising Phoenix.
And it's going to be pretty much given to them for free, entirely uncontested, because Trigger Happy knows if they walk into this team, they will not make it back out alive.
Yeah, and you know, fighting for a Rift Herald's kind of grief when you're this far behind. They make the smart play not to fight for it. However, they don't have a Bard, right? So there's no stopping the Rift Herald.
But Mayeki now going forward onto Skiz. Skiz, good cage coming out here as he's trying to slow him away, and he goes out with the ultimate, and he's able to flash away to maybe save himself or delay it now. But Mayeki's going to go forward back in and pick up the kill onto Skiz.
Skiz? Skiz, are you okay up there, buddy? Let's not 1v1 the Rivet. Let's, as you know, he actually got away and then turned back around. You know, very good 1v1 from the side of Mayeki, but you know, Skiz, what are you doing? Why are you doing, man? You know, your team's winning, right? We're getting mid towers. There's no reason to take the fight that he took, and it bites him in the butt there.
So looking now, we have 7 kills for Epic Fail Guy, you know, a really strong Caitlyn. And then you have 5 kills onto Klepto, you know, respectively, both very far ahead of their opponents. What can Glacial Rising Phoenix do now to kind of transition themselves to make sure that they stay firmly ahead going into the 20-minute mark?
Kind of what they're doing right now. So the biggest thing for them is going to be getting the next dragon and trying to break open this top tier 1 tower. Being able to break open this top tier 1 tower will create a lot of openings, as once again Skiz walks up to Makai, but this time he has backup. Whew.
But now Games in My Hand is going to go forward onto Skiz. Skiz taken low, but Games in My Hand is just getting destroyed from all this damage coming out. But his team was there to help back him up. And now a good hook on for Xylandis going forward. And Epic Fail Guy is here to do some damage. He's going to get taken low with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. But now they're coming back for the Flay going backwards. And now Games in My Hands looking to go forward, make some damage. But a good hook to disrupt him. And Epic Fail Guy picks up that kill.
And meanwhile, Klepto. Woo! Yeah, Klepto, you know, winning the 1v1. He's, I mean, quietly is maybe an understatement. But... or maybe an overstatement, I mean, obviously we've known he's been doing well this game, but, you know, he's quietly sitting also worth 1,000 gold, 6-0 and 5, you know, been a part of the same amount of kills as Caitlyn, and we see Rift Herald drop mid. And even a TP coming out from Veigar here from Skiz, really looking to break open this mid tower early on.
And with that, the inhibitor turret's going to go down in the mid lane, really pivotal moment, and it's now they're going to go for on the bottom user. Bottom user's going to get picked up with a hook, and Epic Fail Guy's going to pick up a kill, and that is now a 9-0 Caitlyn. But Ishan coming in from the backside, And Joey Dust taking low, and Mayaki's going to go forward. He's going to pick up 2 kills instantly, and he's going to go back forward, running down Klepto now, but Klepto is too strong in this moment, and he's trying to just get away, create the space, and he's going to pick up the kill on Mayaki with a good flash backwards.
Man, and for a split second, right, for a moment, it looked like Trigger Happy found an opening back into the game off the overextension from the side of Glacial Rising Phoenix, and Klepto kind of just shuts it all down, right? Slams the door on them and says, listen guys, I'm stat checking you real quick, we're too strong, and walks away. And now we see, we still have Joey Desu with TP, so he can make it to this dragon fight really quick. He also has the ability to walk from base, and this is that swing dragon. I think if they get this, the game's pretty much over. But if we're able to see maybe a steal come out from the side of Trigger Happy, then they might be able to, hang in, maybe steal away a soul. Losing this dragon is just bad if they're unable to avoid it. It looks like, though.
That's going to be a really good
spike
coming over, and Chain of Crystal Arrow goes wide, and Epic Fail Guy picks up a kill over
and
my hand.
It's looking like a Baron's going to come out now, and that's the big thing. Going for that steal, you're risking the Baron. So even if you steal it, you probably lose Baron because you die, but at least then you have 3 dragons. In this case, you go for a steal, and you lose it, and now you lose Baron. Unless we see the Riven play of the century. Unless Brown is subbing in here for Trigger Happy on a quick tactical pause and stealing this away.
And you see Mayaki getting ready to come over the wall. He's waiting, he's watching, and here he comes into the pit. Will he take it? He's locked up, and they're going to go ahead and secure the Baron for Glacial Rising
Phoenix. And the Baron is taken by Caitlyn of all people, as Troll Danube is going to be slowed up and forced to flash. And oh my!
So much damage, but Troll Danube lives by the skin of his teeth there.
Yeah, and Glacial Rising Phoenix is looking really strong. They had their experimental game 1, and so far the stories of the series has truly been about this Troll Danube Bard, right? Like game 1, Troll Danube is everywhere, making plays, creating chaos, helping his team to a victory. Game 2 and 3, he's super quiet. We don't see a good scoreline. We don't see him on the map too much. And his team's score reflects it, right? His team's not doing too well. There's some definitely just when he stops performing at his best, we see Trigger Happy fall behind. And bottom user, I talked about him being arguably one of the weaker links, as we see Troll Danube getting called out here in the mid lane. He's gone.
Epic Fail Guy with so much damage, he's just cut straight through that black shield. There's no chance.
I don't think you can win this 1v1, Sean. This Malphite is big. He's 1v2 down there while his team's, on the Nexus turrets. And we might see a very quick closeout to this game 3. As Glacial Rising Phoenix on the Nexus towers.
And Joey Diaz, you're going to go ahead and TP into his team and help try to finish this game out now. Both Nexus turrets are down. Mayaki's on the run. A Stubble Force going to go in on the Games in My Hand. And here comes the Cage trying to lock them all up. Klepto picks up a kill. But now Ishan's going forward on to Epic Fail Guy. Epic Fail Guy able to kite back, pick up the kill. Another Cage coming out. But it looks like Glacial Rising Phoenix has already secured the game, and they're just going for the kills now. They have bottom user locked up in his Nexus, and that will be game 3 for Glacial Rising Phoenix with a 2-1 lead.
And that's game 3, like you were saying, for Glacial Rising Phoenix. We have hope. There's life. My Glacial Rising Phoenix prediction is coming true. And, if we're looking at this unbiased, because we got to take a step back, right? Take a deep breath. If we're the side of Trigger Happy, we're moving back to red side for game 4, right? So we're not going to get the Bard again. So we got to go back to the drawing board, right? What do we have to do to win a game? And if we go back to game 1, it's Troll Danube making plays early, roaming on the map, and Ashawn's Galio. So we probably will see the Galio banned away again. The Bard's going to be banned from the side of Trigger Happy, probably denied it from Glacial Rising Phoenix. So we're going to have to see this potential, maybe we go back to Troll Danube on Thresh and try to get him roaming out there early. But we got to go back to the drawing board, look at game 1, and try to get that form again, right? Try to get back to what we achieved in game 1.
I'm really looking forward to see what they might try to change up here in this coming game 4, because they really really need to identify what's going on here, and they really need to decide what they can do. They have to go back to the drawing board, like you saying. They need to figure out, you know, what was the moment that we lost a lot of our potential with Troll to Noob not being able to affect the map so much in game 2 and 3. I think the rest of us needs to step up and help each other out more than just relying on this one key member to carry them into the game.
Yeah. So game 3 is out of the way. We have a 2-1 lead for the side of Glacial Rising Phoenix. We have game 4 coming up in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss this thrilling end to our quarterfinals of ALS.